This is a phylogenetic tree of aves, the group which constitutes all birds. In our previous video, we talked about the first 15 orders within this clade. In this video, we will discuss the remaining 29. From where we left off, the aves group splits into two main lineages, the elementar aves and the teller aves. The teller aves then breaks off into two main lineages, the afro aves and the australaves. The australaves includes four orders, the first one being the Cariamiformes. This family includes the extant Surimas as well as the extinct terror bird. The Surimas live in the dry woodlands, savannas, and grasslands of Brazil, Bolivia, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. The next order is Falconiformes. The Falconiformes is an order which constitutes 65 species of diurnal birds, which can be divided into three subfamilies. The first being the Herpetotheriidae, which includes the laughing falcon. Polyborheidae, which includes the spot-winged falconet and the carcaras, and the Falconidae, which includes the falcons, kestrels, and falconets. Traditionally, the birds like the hawk and the eagles and vultures were actually considered to be part of the Falconiformes, but a series of comparative genome analysis found that these species, such as the eagles, are actually part of the afro aves, meaning that they're more related to the woodpecker, for example, than they are to the falcon. Peregrine falcons are able to reach up to speeds of 242 miles per hour while diving. This is due to a multitude of adaptations, such as a streamlined body, a large keel bone, and a very effective respiratory system. Humans and falcons also go way back. Artwork depicting falconry showed that in ancient Mesopotamia, falcons were used to deter pests for crops and livestock. The Psittaciformes, or the family of parrots, is classified into four main families, containing over 410 species. All of these families are found in mostly tropical or subtropical regions. The four families are as follows: the Strigopodia, which is the New Zealand parrots, the Psittaculidae, the Old World parrots, the Psittaciidae, the African and New World parrots, and the Cockatuidae, the cockatoos. This is my little sister's cockatiel, Nymphicus hollandicus, which is one of the members of the Cockatuidae. You know, the parrot's beak is incredibly interesting. Their top beak is actually hinged so they can move it separately from the bottom beak. The parrot is actually the only species in the animal kingdom that truly exhibits tripedal locomotion, meaning they use their beak and their 2 feet to move. This family also includes one of my favorite species of birds, the cockapoo, the only species of flightless parrot. Honestly, kind of looks like a dodo bird. The most intelligent birds are classified in the Psittaciformes, as well as in their sister group, the Passiformes. The Passiformes is the final order within the australaves. This order constitutes over 60% of all bird species, with over 6,500 identified species. The birds within this order are often nicknamed the perching birds, due to their anisodactyl arrangement of the toes, which is actually adapted for perching. The Passiformes is divided into three suborders: the Aceticanti, or the New Zealand wrens, the Tyranny, which includes diverse birds found in North and South America, and the Passeri, or the songbirds. Now, I could make a 30-minute video talking about how amazing this order is, but we have a limited time, so I'm going to talk about my favorite family, the Corvidae. The Corvidae includes the crows, magpies, and jays. This group is known for being especially smart. Crows are known to hold funerals upon finding another crow dead, but these funerals are nothing like what ours are, unless your funerals dabble in necrophilia. So basically, a crow will find another crow dead. They'll call all the other crows in the area and they'll all surround this dead crow. And it was found by researchers that the part of the brain associated with complex decision-making is stimulated. They're trying to figure out how the crow died so they can prevent their own demise, which is, signs of an incredibly smart creature. Now moving on to the other clade within the teleraves, the afroaves. The accipitriformes and the strigiformes are the most distantly related families from the rest of the clade within the afroaves. The accipitriformes includes most diurnal birds of prey, like the hawks, eagles, kites, and vultures, but, as discussed previously, not the falcons. Now, I want to sneak in a little fact to address the misconception that vultures circle their prey. Instead, vultures are actually riding thermal air currents. They do this as to preserve energy because they don't have to flap their wings. The next order, the Strigiformes, includes the 200 species of owl. Owls are typically solitary and nocturnal birds of prey, with broad wings, with pillowy feathers, adapted for silent flight. This lineage breaks off into two families, with the Titonidiidae including the bay and barn owls, and the Strigiidae including the rest of the owls. Shout out to the bay owl, I love its face. Also shout out to the crested owl. It looks like Gandalf if he was turned into an owl. Interestingly enough, owls' tube-shaped eyes are fixed into their sockets, allowing for a greater depth of field, but they cannot move their pupils. Instead, owls have the ability to rotate their head 270 degrees in either direction, allowing for a wide range of vision. The Cauliformes includes the mouse birds, which are confined to sub-Saharan Africa. The Leptosomniformes includes the singular species of cuckoo roller, which inhabit the forests and woodlands of the Comoro Islands and Madagascar. The Troganiformes includes the 46 species of trogons and quetzals. These species are distributed throughout tropical forests of South America, Africa, and Asia. Trogon means to nibble in Greek, which alludes to the fact that these species nibble into trees to make holes for nesting. The Buceratiformes is the order which includes the hornbills and the hoopoes. This clade is distributed throughout Africa, Asia, Europe, and Melanesia. Hornbills are quite famous for their nesting ritual. After mating, the female locates a hollow tree and encloses herself using dung and mud pellets, only leaving a small opening. The male provides food for the female through this opening for the duration of 6 to 8 weeks. Now, the Coryciformes includes some especially vibrant birds, such as the kingfishers, the bee-eaters, the rollers, the moths, and the toadies. These species are known for slamming their prey into hard surfaces to stun them. I would not want to be that worm. The final order within the Afroaves is the Pisciformes. There are 450 species within the Pisciformes, most of them being arboreal. This clade includes the woodpeckers, the toucans, the barbettes, the jacamars, the puffbirds, and the honey guides. You know, toucan's large beak is used to attract females, as males fence with their beaks. Toucans regulate their body temperature through their beak as a way to keep it under control. This is why toucans actually sleep with their beak tucked under their wing, as to not get too cold. Now we move on to the Elementaves. The first to branch off is a clade which contains 3 orders. The first of these clades we will be exploring is the Opisthocana which includes the singular species of Hodson. This bird lives in the Amazon and the Orinoco Delta in South America. And Hodsons are also ruminators, like goats and cows. This is the only species of bird that uses a methodology other than their stomach to digest their food. See, their diet comprises completely of roots and leaves, and so it ruminates in something called a crop right here for up to 45 hours. The Gruiformes includes the 15 species of large cranes, the 145 species of smaller cranes and rails, as well as a variety of families like the finfoots and the limpkins. The phylogeny of this group is widely disputed. Families that don't seem to belong anywhere else tend to land in the Gruiformes. The 390 species of Charadriiformes are often called shorebirds. The Charadrii includes various shorebirds such as the plovers. The Sculopaci includes the shorebirds such as snipes. And the Lari includes the gulls, terns, squaws, and skimmers. Now, the rest of the clade breaks off into 2 main groups: the Stryceres, or the nightbirds, and the Phaethontiformes, or the core water birds. The first order within the Stryceres is the Caprimulgiformes, or the nightjars. These birds are found just about anywhere besides Antarctica and a few islands. Nightjars can also be referred to as goat suckers. This is because of a myth that dates as far back as 4th century BC. where people reported these birds to sneak into their barns at night to steal goats' milk. Nyctibiiformes includes the 7 species of putus, which live in tropical Central and South America. The putu is amazing at camouflage. These birds perch at the top of a dead branch and stay still for the entire day. They even have specially adapted eyelids, which allow them to sense movement with their eyes closed, so they can evade predators when it's discovered that they are not in fact a tree branch. They also sound like a child who has lost their mother at a grocery store. Stayat includes the oilbird, which are basically bats. They nest in caves and use echolocation to communicate. Poderigiformes includes the nocturnal frogmouths, which occupy Indo-Malayan and Australasian realms. Egotheliformes includes the owlet nightjars, which are typically native to New Guinea, with a few species living in Australia, the Moluccas, and New Caledonia. The last order of this clade is the Apodiformes, which includes 3 families. The Apodiidae includes the swifts, which generally resemble swallows due to convergent evolution. The family name, Apodiidae, is derived from the Greek term apos, meaning footless. Art in the Middle Ages often depicted swifts without feet. The Hemipromiidae includes the tree swifts, which are distributed throughout Southeast Asia and India. And the final family, the Trochiliidae, includes the many species of hummingbirds. These are the only birds that can fly backwards. And now we move on to the final large clade, the Phaeethocornithes. The first order to diverge from here is the Phaeethoneformes, which includes the tropic birds. The next order, the Europigiformes, includes the 2 species of kagu, which are native to New Caledonia, and the singular species of sunbittern, which is native to the Americas. The Galliformes includes the loons, which are native to North America and northern Eurasia. Unlike other birds, loons actually have solid bones. This reduces its buoyancy so they can dive farther. The next order, the Procellariformes, includes 4 families. The Diomedeidae includes the albatross, which occupy the Pacific Ocean along with the northern Pacific. The Procellariidae includes the petrels, the prions, and the shearwaters. And then there are the 2 families of storm petrels. An interesting fact about one of the members of this order, the wandering albatross, is that it has the largest wingspan of any extant bird, reaching 12 feet. Now, the albatross are just interesting birds in general. They lock their elbow joints to help them fly over 500 miles a day with little stress on their muscles. They ride on strong winds too, meaning they can simply glide for up to 8 hours without having to flap once. The Spheniciformes includes the 17 or 18, we don't really know, species of penguins that almost exclusively occupy the southern hemisphere besides the Galapagos penguin. Now, I love penguins. They're just so cool. I mean, they have a lot of cool adaptations, one of them being that they have a lot of heat-regulating adaptations, because there's a lot of species that live in warmer climates. The Magellatic penguins, which live on the coasts of Chile and Argentina, have bare patches of skin around their eyes and at the base of their bill, which can actually release body heat. These birds also use a method of camouflage called countershading. So how this works is that, for example, the underside of the penguin is lighter. So for predators looking upward, the penguin is actually camouflaged by the glare of the sun. And for predators looking downward, the black on the penguin camouflages them in the shadows of the ocean. Last fact about penguin, I swear, the emperor penguin actually has a very unique strategy for staying warm in the winter, when the temperature can drop to negative 58 degrees. The males who incubate the eggs form densely packed huddles which can reach a temperature of 98 degrees. There have been cases where penguins have actually died from overheating in these huddles. These huddles can also reach up to thousands of penguins. And the next order, the Ciconiformes, includes the 20 species of storks. The next order, the Suliiformes, includes 4 families. The first family, the Phragetidae, includes the frigate birds, which occupy tropical oceans and utilize updrafts from underneath cumulus clouds to soar. Magnificent frigate birds practice kleptoparasitism, meaning that they deliberately steal food from other seabirds, such as the blue-footed booby. It's actually quite sad to watch. The Sulidae encompasses the gannets and the boobies, which are distributed throughout subtropical and tropical waters. A fun fact is that the blue-footed boobies' blue feet are actually the result of the nutrients they get from the fish they eat. A blue-footed booby is actually more attractive during mating season because that means that they get more food. And the Hygiedae includes the darters, of whom are found in tropical regions near fresh water. The Phallocroceracidae includes the approximately 42 species of cormorants and shags. Cormorants actually lack the oily cover that ducks have, so they can dive deeper. The double-breasted cormorant can dive up to 25 feet, with other species being able to dive up to 150. The final order is the Pelycoformes, which includes 5 families. And yes, I will be explaining them all in excruciating detail with multiple facts about each family. Thresciornithidae includes the 36 species of ibises and spoonbills. And just so you know, spoonbills don't actually just come straight out of the egg with a spoon-shaped beak. They actually develop it after several weeks. They come out of the egg with a straight beak. The Ardeidae includes the herons, which are sometimes also referred to as egrets or bitterns, but they're all part of the same family. These birds have cosmopolitan distribution, meaning they live in most places, though they do not live in Antarctica. The Pelecanidae includes guess what? The pelicans. Pelicans are actually ferocious predators. They dive into the ocean at great speeds, bill first, often from the height of several stories. The force of the collision is often so great that it incapacitates the prey, allowing them to just scoop it up into their pouch and swallow it. The singular species of hankertop makes up the family, the Scopiidae. The hankertop inhabits a range of wetlands across mainland Africa, Madagascar, and Arabia. And in this case, we did save the best for last. The final family is the shoebill of the Balaenopsidiidae. The shoebill inhabits swamps in tropical East Africa, ranging from South Sudan to Zambia. These birds are so cool. Their bill can actually grow up to 10 inches, which allows them to eat baby crocodiles. They also have the definition of an RBF. And when they click their bill, it actually sounds like an AK-47. This is their greeting. And with that, I have concluded my series of the phylogeny of the aves clade. Next, I will be moving to the lepidosaurs, which include the Rhynchocephalia, which is an ancient lineage native to New Zealand, which includes the Turatua, and then the Squamata, which includes all lizards, including the snakes. I will be moving on to the lepidosaurs next, which includes Rhynchocephalia.